even started?
Yeah, we're just starting now.
No, we're just arguing with
Just
each
about to
other
start
for no
now.
reason.
Ready? And go. Ooh. Isn't that a fancy intro? You like that? Can anyone hear
like
the
it.
music? I can't hear the music very well. Can you hear the music very well?
I can hear.
It's a little low.
Is
It's
it a little quiet, is it? Welcome,
I never
everybody.
realized- Oh.
It's alright, you carry on. I don't really need an intro.
Well, I was just going to say, I never realized how just unbelievably random some of those pictures are. Like, I think I saw like an anime penguin in there.
Yeah, there's. I think it's about 16,000 different images.
Yeah,
Did you put me in there, Robin? I'm pretty sure. I saw myself.
Everybody that I've ever come across is in there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I update it every week. No, I don't update it every week. It would be
It's
insane.
neat.
It took me about 7 days to render the fucker.
Really?
It's 16,000 images, mate. That's a lot of images to load up.
I understand, but I don't know. I don't know how these things work. I just thought you just had some sort of like program that I don't know, took shit from the internet randomly and just
normal particle effect. Yeah, normal particle effects. You can usually use 1 or 2 images or whatever like that for particle effects, but when you use sort of like several thousand, yeah, it starts to really freak out.
I mean, did you like hand pick those images and stuff?
I had a guy.
Impressive. I admire your tenacity and your.
I know people. You know what I mean?
I just call it computer magic. I just assume Robin knows the computer magic.
I have a few sort of spells under my belt and up my sleeve.
Mind you, that intro is about 5 years old now.
Yeah, I'm also lazy. But hello, yes, welcome. We're going to be talking about Julian Assange, J-Dog, to his friends. Apparently, he's been apprehended finally after a 7-year stakeout outside of the embassy. Obviously, there's some people with mixed feelings about Mr. Assange going in there. A lot of people in the journalist community don't really seem to be thinking of him much of a journalist these days. They did before. Not so much now.
Oh, I mean, if you talk to Giovanna, she will say that, oh, this is an attack on journalism. It's like, he's not really a journalist.
Hang him high, baby.
I'm not saying hang him, I'm saying he's not really a journalist, and this is not against freedom of the press.
But is it? Mm-hmm. I mean, okay. Why is he there in the first place?
He released some content that he shouldn't have.
Is that why he's there?
I think some of it also had to do with the, sexual allegations that were against him, which from what I've read, I don't know. I haven't looked into it enough. They didn't look super convincing. That there are other. I think there are other more persuasive reasons one could give for extraditing the guy and whatnot. But yeah, it's a weird case because on one hand, I actually think that what he did in terms of the original batch of WikiLeaks that he put out, I think that was a noble thing, and yet at the same time, I have a problem with him, not because he has done a bunch of things that kind of pander or cater to the right wing recently, but because he purports to be kind of someone in the middle who is not partisan, and I think it's pretty clear that he is quite partisan, and he just doesn't kind of own up to that. But some
people would even say he's a Russian state actor. Some people.
So some people, sure.
I would go as long.
That's my belief.
I'd go along as much as say asset. I don't necessarily think state actor.
Now remember, one of the biggest problems the Ecuadorian embassy had with him was he refused to clean his room.
He saw when he got pulled out, like he had that like fucking raging beard going on. Yeah, no, yeah. The Ecuadorians got fucking pissed off at him because part of the requirement for him to be able to stay in the embassy and have that free fucking room and food and all that shit.
There was accusations
he was not
smearing
that
shit
he was
on the
not
walls.
that he was not going to publish anything further, and he did it anyway. He just like pissed in the eye of the Ecuadorians. The one fucking nation that would fucking put him up like free room and board, and he just was like, nope, you know what? I'm gonna keep posting my shit on the internet.
Yeah, it's like they basically said, okay, you can couch surf on our sofa, and then he pisses on the fucking floor. He does all this shit, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna have to kick you out.
There's no wonder the Ecuadorians. It's no wonder the Ecuadorians were just.
But you know where else they give you free room and board? Prison.
Well, I mean, he basically was in a prison.
What way was he not in prison?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if I'm being put up by a foreign government, so that I don't get extradited back to the U.S., where they're obviously going to throw me in fucking jail. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to sit there and be like, let's do everything I can possibly do to piss off these people. Like,
what's the difference between being in one tiny room at the courtesy of one government versus being in a different tiny room at the courtesy of another government?
I don't know. Better accommodations? I don't know.
But are they better accommodations? At least in jail, he's gonna get medical attention. And
well, that's the thing. Like, and this is the thing. Like, he's getting let off pretty fucking easy too. He's
not
actually only he's only what we're actually taking him in for is 5 years for hacking, right?
Correct.
So he's gonna do like 1 year. He's getting a great fucking deal.
They also have the secret charges that are not so secret anymore. When that idiot made a boo-boo and showed everybody that there are actually more serious charges based on the Espionage Act that will presumably kick in once they have a hold of him.
Sure, the Fed could come out and destroy him if they wanted to, but I mean, I don't think that Donald Trump is gonna fucking.
It's not about Trump. He doesn't give a shit at all. This is Pompeo.
I saw his comment.
Bolton and those guys.
I think they're gonna do their hardest to lock him up as long as fucking possible because they want him to be some sort of example for those who do this sort of thing or want to do this sort of thing in the future. And that's a scary thing, you know,
like
ramifications that it has on whistleblowers and whatnot.
I mean, it's possible, but our Fed is saying right now that they're only trying to put him up for 5 years for like hacking.
They're saying that they want the UK to extradite him, and the UK doesn't want to give to someone who to a country that has the death penalty. And any
apparently they do.
5 years is one thing, but anything from the Espionage Act is going to be effectively life in prison for the guy, which is basically the same thing. So they're going to wait until they get him before they pull the other charges.
I think that journalists are pretty safe, considering how they handled the situation. Like when The Guardian was dealing with the data dump that they'd received from WikiLeaks. They, unlike WikiLeaks, decided to vet the information, which is what journalists usually do.
In a crazy day and age, huh?
Whereas WikiLeaks decided to just release the cables wholesale, which is
the Afghan reports already talked about this.
My understanding is they did do some redactions. I could be wrong about that, but I know that they
no WikiLeaks.
I know they redact like personal info. Maybe for the DNC stuff they redacted personal info. I don't know if they did.
That's the reason right wingers like me do not like Julian Assange, because the motherfucker in 2010 released a whole cable list of fucking bullshit and released locations of some of our black ops units in Afghanistan. That's not kosher.
So has anyone pointed to any particular consequence of
nobody died?
Right.
Okay,
who gives
Plenty of people died.
Nobody died, then why are we treating it like somebody died?
Videos that he released, though, I mean, that was, in my opinion, I mean, again, I have so many conflicting views on this guy, but I do in the end think that the footage that he released of what was it, Blackwater doing those double taps, that was really heinous shit that the world should have known about, and I'm glad it did. So I don't know, they're a very complicated guy. He's done a lot of good and a lot of bad. So
here's where I stand on it, is that I think Julian Assange is probably, I mean, he's clearly anti-America. He's anti-West. He doesn't like us. Fine. He's Australian or whatever. He's got weird parentage or whatever. He's not American. So there's no particular reason why he should be expected to have a pro-Western slant, which I think everyone just sort of like gets in the assumption.
That's the big question on the books in my camp anyway, is this guy a fucking Russian actor?
Yeah, right. I mean, maybe I don't fucking know. No, but the thing is, like, Assange is not the organization, but unfortunately Assange is the organization, and the reason why Assange is the organization is because the U.S. government systematically went after everyone else, and take, if you associate with, they put a fucking PayPal blockade on the organization, so it made it very clear if you associate with this guy, you're screwed.
He's the guy that puts the rubber stamp on everything that goes through WikiLeaks, though, right? Like, you have to hold him accountable for it, because that's his baby. Sure.
But the problem, what I'm concerned about is, I think that there is a space for a website that publishes leaks of classified information. Unfortunately, it's not going to exist if you throw all of the founders in jail, take away their money, and threaten to blow them up with a robot.
I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine with whistleblowers. But holy shit, you have to be responsible about it. Like, if you're just throwing everything out there because, well, I'm the whistleblower, there are particular things. Like, this is the thing. Like, the U.S. government, the military actually petitioned Assange to not release the locations of particular military personnel, because they knew that he had those leaks. And Assange was like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna fucking release everything.
Right.
He was given every opportunity not to be an asshole, and he decided to be an asshole. So to me, I'm just like, yeah, hang him high. I don't care. You know, you made your bed.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We're not gonna see many leaks anymore.
I certainly see your point of view. Yet I don't know everything about it, and I wonder if there's more context that would make releasing such a thing more understandable. You know, if there was other things connected to it that he thought were important enough to do that. I don't know. I just don't know enough.
There could be more context with him. I don't know. We can't know.
And maybe maybe he should have just released that shit and redacted the info that was akin to what we're talking about. But
in the old days, they would coordinate with like New York Times and WAPO and stuff. Like, when releasing their, they would get stuff and then they would give it to them, and there would be like a story. And I guess they stopped doing that because they started fighting over like what the actual story was, and like including or not including various bits. And so they just sort of like, fuck it, we give everything. Let the people decide.
Let the people, the people. It's a great idea.
Right. Yeah, which they then weaponized. Obviously, like in 2016, you'd see the way they would they would have just the Twitter account would link to some random email, and then they would provide all of the framing for the context of that email to get you pre-pissed before you were like, that was really scummy what they were doing. Sure.
I mean, like, this is in a weird way, this is kind of like an exercise. Like, I don't want to say learnable moment, but it is a learnable moment of what happens when you take somebody who is going to be the pure journalist, right? Like, a journalist in and of themselves is supposed to be somebody who watches something that happens and then reports on it through media. And Julian Assange is what I would call a pure journalist, who's just somebody who's like, here's a whole bunch of bullshit, and you can go look at it yourself and draw your own conclusions. I'm not going to tell you where any of this came from or what the hell it means or anything like that. And like, that's, to me, that's like an abortion of the fucking journalistic
it's not really journalism. It's more like, hey, there's a car accident over there. I'm not gonna give you the street or what type of car it is. You have to go run over there and find out. It's like, that's not really journalism.
Just imagine, like, if journalists, rather than like when the 9/11 bombings happened, like, instead of like telling you like where any of this was coming from or like what the state statements were, they just turned the fucking TV on and they just showed you the planes crashing into the buildings. And they were like, well, that happened.
Yeah, that happened. We're going to communicate. Yeah, the skyscraper came down. That's it. It's like, okay, thanks for the info.
There's a bit of responsibility that a journalist has. And
I could take that analogy and flip it on its ear and say that the media showed us that the people who perpetrated these attacks were a bunch of savages in caves in Afghanistan, when of course in reality it was funded by Saudi Arabia, which is the sort of thing that WikiLeaks cables would actually tell you about.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of the question, right? Like, what do you do with that? What's the appropriate way to fucking handle that exactly?
Where are the protests?
The dissemination of information. How do you do that appropriately? Exactly.
Where are the protests in those photos happening, Robert?
Outside of the embassy.
Right, so it is UK.
Well, there was one person, I believe, that was protesting, and that's it. Like, literally one person. Nobody else gave a shit. It's like, oh, he's getting arrested.
No, there were multiple people. If you watch the video, there were a lot of people there that were chanting "Save Assange" and all this shit. Like, I can go get the video, but yeah, there were a lot of people there. Surprisingly, that actually fucking knew about this. Like, I didn't even know it happened until after it happened. So
I kept it on the DL.
It did have like just a crazy Gandalf beard and looked like he was, I don't know. I mean, like he looked. This is really not that important, but he looked like a dude who has
like that.
Like, in a gutter, like talking to his shoes. He looked in bad shape.
It's like, dude, are you trying to copy your zombie mother or something? I have
to make this joke. I'm sorry, and I'm going to apologize in advance. This is clearly a man who didn't clean his room.
He looked like a guy who, remember the show Scooby Doo? Like when they unmasked the guy at the end? That's what it looked like.
Oh yeah, Uncle Robert was on that.
Actually, it kind of reminds me of Saddam Hussein, to be honest with you.
A little bit.
Yeah, when they found him in the fucking hole, they pulled him. I was like, "Jeez, dude, how long has it been since you shaved?" Well, you were trying to kill me. You didn't have time to buy a fucking razor.
The first thing I thought when I saw that picture of him getting dragged out, I was like, "Oh, they finally found Santa Claus." Fucking hell.
Peace.
I liked that he was taking a book. I think he was going to the library, actually.
Oh, okay.
What do you expect him to look like?
I have a question for Mycroft, and I assume I know the answer. I was just wondering if your views on oh my gosh, what is her name? The other young trans woman who
Chelsea.
Yes, Chelsea. I was wondering if your views on Chelsea differ at all on your views to Julian Assange.
Not at all, actually. I'm actually Snowden and Chelsea Manning. Like, I'd have to go through all of that because it's been. I even looked at what
roboting,
dude.
Come on now. What the hell?
It's just a bad connection, I think.
Robin.
Hello.
Give me a sec. I will answer that question, Vadim. Give me a.
Sure, no problem.
Oh man.
That's good because I would like to know as well. Like
if the game is rigged.
Like obviously. No, I feel like Chelsea, she did bad stuff and she suffered for it. She was convicted for it and she served time and she, then was released according to a legal process. So that should be the end of it. But for some reason, it's not.
I don't. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, I don't particularly have any opinions on Chelsea Manning. I probably have more opinions on Snowden. But no, I don't. I don't know. The question is kind of strange. What do you like? That's not okay. Is it because she's trans? Like that? Do you think that I would have a different opinion on her because she's trans?
No. Absolutely not. That I was purely mentioning the fact that she was trans in order to, just jog people's memory of who exactly I'm talking about here. No, I would not. That was not my intention. I was just wondering if. Yeah, just exactly what I said. If there was differing opinions, if you thought that there was some certain circumstances behind what occurred, kind of gave you a different opinion on the matter. That's all.
Not at all. Like, no,
I'm not trying to imply anything. Like, I have no reason to think that you're like some sort of transphobe.
Well, I'm not actually. I hang out with trannies all the time, man. They're fucking awesome.
A bit too often, in fact.
I actually have a lot of trans and trans friends.
He's an absolute tranny magnet.
Yeah, I am actually. I'm actually a big fan of the trans community.
But yeah,
trans fan.
I mean, what I find what I find quite interesting about this whole thing is that people are going, oh, you know, they forced Ecuador to, you know, kick him out and stuff. And it's like, no, because Ecuador gave him some ground rules about his political asylum, and he kept breaking them. It's like, dude, if I give you permission to crash on my couch and you start pissing everywhere, like you don't even go to the bathroom, you trash my house, it's like, I'm gonna tell you to get the fuck out.
Yes and no. I think the new prime minister probably had more to do with it than that, but he definitely did not do himself any favors and made it very easy for them to do the obvious thing that made the most sense for them to do.
That's really where he fucked himself. You know, he pissed off the Ecuadorians, and
how he really pissed off the Ecuadorians was leaking stuff about the Ecuadorians.
To the U.S. by the way.
You don't shit on your own doorstep, do you?
You don't,
and then smeared it all over the rooms. But I mean,
you don't anger your hosts.
Your only interlocutor doesn't seem like a good idea. Yeah.
Man, this is the thing. Like, I really wanted to like Assange. I really did. Like that. Because like when I went to school for journalism like way back in the fucking day, right? Back in like 2004, around then. I went to the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism out here in Arizona, and
some of us, I remember Walter Cronkite.
Did they teach how to do the accent?
That's just the name of the school. I can call it something else if you want.
Did they teach you how to talk with great gravitas?
No. What they taught me was that journalism is nonsense. That's no joke. Like here's a story. Like the first day that like I walked into my my journalism class, literally the guy, we were in this large lecture hall. The guy literally told me, he told the entire fucking lecture hall.
Told you.
If you're well. I felt like he was talking to me, Robin. I don't know, but
I suspect he was in front of the whole lecture hall.
Well, no, what he said is like, if you're here for truth, get out now. If you're here to make money, get out now. If you're here to get ahead, get out now. And he basically what he laid out was that being a journalist is the most unrewarding job that you're ever going to have, and you're always going to be at the behest of some other group. And that's he literally told the entire the whole fucking lecture hall would probably had about 1,000 people, and he told everybody that, like, that's the reality of journalism in his view, and it's sad, you know. It shouldn't be that way.
Assange isn't really a journalist; he's more like a tattletale.
Well, right, like that's what I was saying earlier, right? Like, he's not a journalist, true and true. I mean, like he's like a journalist. A journalist is a person who reports on an event and tells you what's happening, right?
Well, wouldn't he be classified as a whistleblower?
Well, more of he's really there. He set up a site for whistleblowers as such, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. He facilitates.
He's a facilitator as such.
Okay.
Which sort of weirded me out when he was saying, yeah, these leaks definitely aren't from Russia. And I'm sitting there kind of going, I thought WikiLeaks wouldn't know this.
Well, that's an interesting point. Like, so I guess we can't call him a journalist, right? Like that, he's not really that. He's
at first he tried to say, I'm not going to go into like where the sourcing of our stuff is from, but basically everyone was like, you must tell us. And so finally he was like, no, it wasn't Russia and it wasn't a state actor. And just left it at that.
This is pure conjecture, but you know, there's a lot of just speculation here. But I just think that it's really fascinating, the fact that I think he kind of at a certain point calculated, and perhaps properly, that if Hillary Clinton had won the election, that he would have been toast, that she would have gone after him. And she thought that, or rather he thought, that
she expressed the desire to kill him
because I find it very hard to believe that he did not have certain information on Trump. He says that he would have released it if he had it, but I just I find it hard to believe that he would have, because of the fact that he was actually talking with them and
leaking to WikiLeaks. If you could just go to the New York Times and they'll print whatever nonsense, you could just have a conversation with a New York Times journalist and they'll fucking print it verbatim. So why bother with WikiLeaks?
But that's kind of like that. What Vadim is saying there is actually kind of in line with my thinking, because there was a time when the Russians actually did want Trump to get elected because they didn't like Hillary. So like, if you look at this on like a timeline level, sure, like it would make sense that Julian Assange was doing things in favor of Trump's campaign, and then as soon as Trump started, going against the grain with Russia, it would make sense that like he would turn a little bit. Well, he did. He did.
Well, Trump is now basically throwing him under the fucking bus, and he's like, "Wait, I thought we were friends." And we were never...
Well, I mean, do you think that the fucking U.S. relations with Russia are good right now?
Let Vadim speak, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Kind of like the final aspect of what I was going into before, which is just that it's fucking hilarious that there's all this footage of Trump during the campaign just saying like, yeah, have you seen these WikiLeaks? They're amazing.
You saw that? Yeah.
These WikiLeaks. They're huge.
That's not my thing. I don't know what that is. That's not my thing. I don't do that.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with me. Never heard of him.
It's
like, really, dude?
He's literally saying like, I'm not too familiar with these WikiLeaks. Not a
Assange. I don't know him.
Yeah, but you can. Yeah, and that's the funny thing, Vadim. Like, you can literally go look at like his presidential campaign where he's like, WikiLeaks, best thing ever, right? And then he starts reading WikiLeaks.
Yeah, and now he's like, there's some people.
I don't know that guy. That's a weird. I don't know who that guy is. That's weird.
I mean, there are some speculation that Assange is not being arrested because he wanted to like divulge some. A certain report about Mr. Trump, and he was like, nope, can't blow the whistle on me, mate. Gonna throw you in jail.
All I'm gonna say right now is Yang Gang 2020. Right?
Yeah. A gangbang in 2020.
Stop. I wanted to ask you this, Vadim. Are you still rooting for Warren?
I mean, look, I was never really rooting for Warren. She's someone who I prefer over several other candidates, and I do find her, even though that there are several shortcomings that I could point to, I do find her, for the most part, pretty genuine. I'm a Bernie guy at heart. But I'll say I just don't really think she has much of a chance at this point. She's just been kind of. I think she has suffered from Howard Dean-itis. Like Howard Dean did the whole thing, and then just fucked himself.
She got too much coverage, and the fact that
I mean, but between the Indian thing, which I don't think like she got that wrong, but so many people look at that like I think that people look at that it's so obvious that she was not lying about that, because this is the thing. It's like, and people are calling her total liar over that. And this is the thing. She went out and she got the DNA testing. Why the fuck would somebody who did not genuinely believe that they had more Native American blood than they actually had, why would they go through with that? I mean, it's just so it makes no sense to actually peg her as a liar on that matter. But it's just unfortunate. I think that she is I think she would have made good vice presidential material with Bernie if he gets the nomination. Which, don't get me wrong,
that's an interesting idea.
I think even though that I love Bernie and I think that a lot of people love him, I think he's still somewhat of a long shot because of all the forces that are against him. But yeah, so that's my take on Warren. It's more like I just prefer her in comparison to, I don't know, fucking Kristen Gillibrand and Kamala Harris and Cory Booker and Beto O'Rourke. People who I think are more centrists and who are adopting progressive policies disingenuously in order to appeal to this wave of Americans who are starting to, just identify with progressive politics.
Right. So I agree, and this is the funny with everything. You just fucking really funny to me. Yeah, this
who are we? While Mycroft is breaking up, who are we talking about?
Again?
Well, we're not talking about Julian Assange, are we?
No, that's not what I wanted to know. Who we were talking about?
Elizabeth
Julian
Warren.
Assange seems like an interesting to talk about.
May I interject?
No.
Oh, okay. I'll wait.
Interject. Interject.
Like,
please interject. You will never get another chance.
Interject.
The real question is, okay, here's a question really, like, who voted for Julian Assange anyway?
No one?
Who voted for him? No one voted for. And now this is supposed to be.
What kind of a point is that?
Brilliant meme. Who voted for this guy anyway?
Minecraft, I have a question for you. What do you think of Andrew Yang? What do you think about him?
Oh, I think that he's a hilarious alt-right meme, and you should steer the hell away from him. And,
Okay, can you explain that part to me? What's the alt-right connection with Andrew Yang? You have the only person that I can ask and hope for an explanation about.
Split the left. Split the left. Split the left.
You guys really don't know? Like, this is basic fucking knowledge.
Left guy. I don't get the alt-right thing.
I get it. I mean, I'll give my take after you give your take, Mycroft.
Okay, well, here's what the alt-right are doing is essentially they've given up on Donald Trump, and so Andrew Yang is basically the acceleration viewpoint, which has been a very small segment of the alt-right for a long period of time. What they're essentially coming to the fore now is saying that, well, look, we had our best shot with Donald Trump. Donald Trump failed, so therefore let's accelerate this all into fucking oblivion. Let's elect the most ridiculous candidate we could possibly do. Let's get somebody who's going to destroy the entire economy. And then
so like the Christchurch shooter.
Well, essentially the same idea, but like the idea is that like, destroy the country, and then when the country falls apart, then we can take over. Right, that's essentially the Andrew Yang bullshit. Like, they don't believe in the UBI shit. The idea is
they don't actually agree with any of his policies. They just find him the most extreme version that has a likeliness of getting anywhere. So they're now throwing their support in hopes of causing more break.
Yeah, and you get it. Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting because there's sort of some overlap with what I believe is going on and what you're saying, yet there's some differences. Like, I do, first of all, I don't believe that they have given up on Trump. I still, even though that they probably kind of see him as a clown, I still think that they see him as their best bet. I don't think they genuinely want Yang to get elected. I think that it's a matter of, like, there was a certain point where, and they still do it from time to time, where the Daily Stormer, if you guys don't know who I'm talking about, it's a basically like a neo-Nazi website. They will make articles where they encourage left-wing candidates, and the reason why they're doing it is to fuck those people up. Now, I'm not saying that they're trying to fuck up Andrew Yang, because Andrew Yang doesn't have much of a chance, but I think that they are kind of trying to throw a monkey wrench into the whole process by taking this guy who doesn't have much of a chance at all, arguably very silly, and is just doing it as like left-wing sabotage, basically.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that too. Like, because like he's, if you look at his polling, like he was originally at like 1%, now he's at like 3%. Yeah. So you could make that argument for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You don't think he's just a lip stock?
As a matter of fact, Baked Alaska made a rap about.
Did you watch that? Oh, that was so fucking retarded. Oh,
that's an interesting wall behind you with the unicorn.
Yeah,
you don't think that Yang?
I'll be right back, guys.
Like what we in the UK call a stalking horse.
A stalking horse? A what?
Yeah, it's basically you put up and somebody puts himself forward. He knows he's never going to get elected, but it allows other people to come forward.
Well, I think the general idea is basically to split the vote out. So, like, like this happened with Bernie Sanders during the last election. Like, there's a whole bunch of people who were basically like, Bernie or bust, if you remember that. So basically,
Yeah,
like when
just...
Bernie didn't get the nomination, they specifically did not vote for Hillary specifically because
to me
they
that
didn't
was
get
childish. That was
well,
that was it, kids in the playground. If I don't get what I want, I'm going to stomp out.
Yeah,
and basically what you did then, you had Donald Trump going, "Oh, thank you very much."
Essentially, that's part of what happened there. Yeah.
Welcome to London. That'll be £1, please.
Hello, Christopher. How are you?
Hi.
Cool.
Nice to see you again.
Didn't you want to interject earlier, Christopher?
Yes.
Good. Do it now.
Go for it.
Who voted for this Christopher guy?
Do it.
So anyways,
Drew, mute your shit.
I'm getting another drink. I'll be back. Jesus.
Hopefully he's going to the drugstore for it.
Okay,
Go on, Chris.
Shut up, Silver.
I was gonna say, like, my whole take on this whole political market, I would say, is because at this point I consider it more of a marketplace than anything at this point, because you have a bunch of politicians trying to appeal to a particular group of people, essentially changing their views that they've had for long standing, and then people just turn a blind eye to that, and they're like, "Oh, wow, this guy's a swell guy. Let's go vote for him. He's good. He's doing good stuff. Look at that." Whatever. It's the fact that people are just becoming blindsided by the fact that they're just voting for somebody just because of the fact that they fit their mold. And they're like, "Oh yeah."
Usually, I found that people don't actually vote for people that fit their mold. It's usually somebody who is against somebody who's the least fitting in their mold.
Or that. It's like, but the thing is, you're trying to shove a square peg into a round hole, Robin.
Oof.
You're going to round off the edges when you push it in.
Or use some sort of lubricant.
You don't want those
I'm just saying, like, it's here's okay. Yes, I may be a little democratic, but here's my reasoning why I believe Trump was probably the best choice in that scenario. Because you had
Sit
option
down,
of
everyone. Here it
Didn't
comes.
I write a paper on this for you, Robin?
Yes.
Why Hillary was not the good choice?
Oh, I know Hillary wasn't a good choice. And if
But
it was me, I would be voting for her, but with a hugely held nose.
Well,
Several pegs.
I literally got drunk on the day, because I was like, "Oh God, I'm not going to be able to do this sober." But I can. I mean, objectively, she was a better choice. I mean, it just the fucking the Supreme Court picks alone, just that alone make. I mean, unless you want to be stripped of things like abortion rights.
Texas is trying to get abortion as a death penalty offense.
I love that.
I mean, the thing is, here in Utah,
Back in a mo, guys.
That was actually a considered thing at one point. Like, people in fucking Utah, the fucking politicians we have here are absolutely horrendous. Like, they say, yeah, we don't let our political views, adjudicate our decisions on matters involving voting for bills.
You can't do that.
And they push policies that literally
is a miscarriage manslaughter exactly? Like, how does that work? I don't know.
No, it wasn't even that. It wasn't even like that. So there was a whole spiel, it was recently about conversion therapy.
Oh.
And they were basically voting to make it illegal in Utah. Well, the couple weeks. So one of the people that actually voted to support it, right? To support to get rid of it. 2 weeks earlier was at a rally chanting about why being gay is a horrendous sin that deserves to be burned or something like that, right? So this is the same guy that went to church and literally was preaching about it, but yet is willing to vote against it. It just doesn't make sense. Why?
Yeah, well, Utah's wacky, dude. You guys are Mormons.
Because Arizona's great place.
We got plenty of Mormons here, but
I mean, Mycroft, we can. I think the problem is that with abortion, Texas now basically said, right, you have an abortion, we got to put a bullet in your head. It's like,
wait, you know, abortion. This is a perfect way to like piss everybody off in the room.
I mean, that's a bit excessive if you think about it. It's kind of like, okay, making them feel fine, all right, by getting them the electric chair is like days.
No, of course not.
But
I don't think that anybody should be killed for having an abortion. Like, that's retarded.
I agree with you. It's just that it is a bit ironic. It's kind of like, oh, you killed the baby, fine, we'll kill you. It's like, guys, that's the
well, I also don't think women should be put in. Yeah, I also don't think women should be put in jail for having, regardless of what your views on abortion are. Like, I don't think a woman should be put in jail for that shit. Like, there's nothing necessarily immoral about having an abortion. It's just.
Sorry, did you just say that? I remember the argument we had a few months back about abortions, mate.
I would like.
Yeah, I know. And then look, this is the thing. Like
you sat back.
We're gonna get into this then, I guess.
Well, we've slightly strayed off Julian Assange, but never mind.
Julian Assange.
Do you want to go back to Julian Assange?
Well, that was what we were discussing originally.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to bring up was. Go ahead.
Go on, Pascal.
One of the things I wanted to bring up was Tulsi Gabbard as a candidate for the United States presidency. I think if the DNC was smart, which they're not, they would run her 110%.
Oh, you mean the Israel shill? Yeah.
Well,
sorry,
I mean,
that's the big reason nobody likes her on the left.
Everybody has their faults, but she's basically hitting every single talking point that matters. Like in terms of climate change, in terms of progressive.
Well, I could see myself. Well, this is the thing, Pascal. I could actually see myself voting for Tulsi Gabbard, but I don't think she's gonna get the fucking the rose, if you will.
Well,
I don't think.
This is the thing with Tulsi. I actually agree with you quite a bit, Pascal, in terms of a lot of the things that she has to say, and I'm not one of those people who hold against, like, for instance, some of the homophobic remarks that she made when she was very young, because I think that she's both explained them very well, and it's understandable when you come from a background like that you might have views like that and change them. But I'm not 100% sure with her, like I am with Bernie, that all of the views that she is espousing because she is 100% behind them, or if she's adopting them because of the fact that they are in vogue. And then you've got somebody like Bernie, who has his entire career been fighting for these things, and there's really no reason to believe that he is insincere about them.
So you think she's a bullshitter, essentially?
I don't necessarily think she is a bullshitter. You know what? It's possible that she's a bullshitter on certain things.
Here's my question.
But I would rather go with the guy who I know for a fact really cares about those things. And then on top of that, I mean, yes, people are going to color him with being a fucking, like a communist and stuff like that. And that could be possibly detrimental. But the guy is a fucking fighter. I mean, he really is. He's got a lot of fire inside him.
He has. I agree with you there. Like he hasn't actually. The one thing I will say, I don't believe in socialism, but the one thing I can say that about Bernie is that at least, like, he's held to his principles. Like, he's consistent.
And he doesn't give up. I mean, like, I'm gonna keep on fighting forever.
Political career. Well,
I have a question.
there are some things that I've seen or I've noticed that he has changed his political views on.
Well, but that matters with the politician, right? Like if you're gonna buy into a politician, you want to see, like, I'm looking at like Kamala Harris and like Cory Booker and like all these other people on the left, and it's like, okay, well, you were saying the exact opposite thing. This is the same reason I had an issue with Hillary Clinton. You were saying the exact opposite shit like 10 years ago. You clearly don't have the same principles. You are changeable. So how can I trust anything you're saying, right?
Not Mycroft.
Beto, I think is the biggest fucking, like, he is hysterical. Like, he's the biggest fool out of all of them. When you hear him talk, he really sounds like a mad.
Excuse me, I'm talking.
He sounds like a Mad Libs version of Obama, just taking all of these like platitudes and kind of poetic things that Obama actually said very eloquently and very well, but like processing them through this like weird machine that doesn't quite connect them very well. And there's no, he never mentions policy. Not that Obama did a great deal, but anyway, I'm sorry, I had to go off on Beto for a bit because I find him so laughable.
Yeah, so Beto is hilarious. Pointless. I do have a question though. Why do you feel that Bernie Sanders' progressive bona fides are more legitimate than Elizabeth Warren's?
So I want to touch on what you guys said about Tulsi not necessarily being trustworthy. I think she has shown that throughout her career, because like she was essentially doing like various different interviews where she answered difficult questions in regards to like her positions on Syria. She justified them completely and totally.
Politics less time than he has, but I didn't think that political.
And is Drew talking like to us? Or
no, he's just talking in the background.
I don't know what's happening.
He's decided not to mute.
Okay. So
Robin, you can mute Drew, can't you? I'm assuming.
No.
Don't you have some sort of tool to mute people?
No.
Oh,
so for Tulsi, also her background in terms of like what she did as a soldier matters to me. That's usually breeds the kind of individuals who are very principled, and they have a strong sense of duty. So to me, I think she could, yeah, for sure. Yeah, she could speak to essentially not only the Democratic base but the Republican base as well, and that's why I think she
literally saying that I would vote. Here are the two Democrats I would actually consider: Joe Biden, Tulsi Gabbard. Those are the two. That's it.
I'm actually pulling for Tulsi. I have a feeling Tulsi's going to be Bernie's VP pick.
Why Biden?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying that I think he's the worst ever, but he strikes me as pretty close in a lot of ways.
Neoliberal cuck. That's what he is. Why are you supporting the neoliberal cuck?
Well, Biden.
There's that, and then also there's the fact. I mean, like if you're really, it depends. Are you talking about in terms of I think this guy has a shot, or I like this guy?
Well, I like him. I think Mycroft right now is just getting a massage by Joe Biden himself. Actually,
yeah.
I mean, the one thing about Joe Biden, he's a bit.
Can I explain? Look, this is the thing. All right, I think all of the nonsense that's come out about him recently, like if you look back into his history, the reason that he's like so touchy-feely and he's explained it is because his family died in a fucking car accident, and he's said this publicly multiple times that the reason that he's so affectionate to people, and yeah, it's weird, is because of, you know, he's translated his affections for his family onto what he's doing in his life, and so I do not think that Joe Biden is a rapist or any of that nonsense. I will say this, like when he had the one reason that I really like the guy, I don't agree with his politics in a lot of ways, but like the one reason that I like the guy is that he had a debate with Paul Ryan back during the Mitt Romney election, and I still remember that to this day, and I think that the way that he handled that debate shows me that he's obviously he's a politician, but like I think that he would be really great on foreign policy because I think that he is a very likable guy. I don't agree with a lot of his policies, but I do think that coming out of a Trump presidency, right, we're gonna have to like fucking mend a lot of bridges here, and I would say that that's one thing that I think Joe Biden is very well equipped to do.
He can go give Angela Merkel a really big hug.
It was somewhere, I don't know.
I think he would well, okay, maybe inevitably is a strong word, but I think he would more than likely lose if he got the nomination. I'm not even speaking to the merits of his political views.
All the conventional wisdom says you're wrong.
Well, I mean, he was the progenitor.
Could you
Vawa.
Mycroft, could you let other people speak?
Yeah, sorry.
Vadim, please continue.
What I was saying, one, because of the fact that he has run several times, lost. I know that Bernie lost as well, but he had a pretty meteoric rise, and he has, considering how long he is really, and the experience that he has, he's just really well liked. And he also, I also think that just, again, one of the reasons why the Democrats lost is because people were so sick of what they think of as being sort of career politicians and kind of like the norm. And I think that he is inevitably going to remind people of stuff like that. And he's not going to sway very many of the people who were, I mean, I guess most of the people who voted Trump are going to stay with Trump, but it's just like, I don't know, like those people are going to so heavily associate him with Obama, and I just think we need someone who is remarkably different from both, even though that I don't think Obama was the worst, but different from Obama, certainly way different from Hillary. And yeah, so those are my reasons why I just don't think if he got it, he would have much of a shot, even though that, sure, yeah, I'd way prefer him to Trump. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, that's a no-brainer. But anyway, I don't want to talk too long.
Well, sure. And look, Vadim, I'm with you. Here's the thing, man. Like, I think that the left wing has an absolutely necessary place in the United States. I've said this a million fucking times to a million different fucking people. And I think that what we need to do is the left wing is kind of ailing, in my opinion, right now. If I just looking at the state of it, like, we need to have, like, the person that goes up against Trump needs to really present a solid view of what they think the United States should be. And that could be Bernie Sanders. Sure, I don't, like I said, I don't agree with his views, but that needs to be something that we need a solid resurgence in the left here, because if we don't have it, then what we get is Donald Trump plus whoever the hell comes after Donald Trump.
This was a real reason. Like, I have like a bunch of pred elections negatively towards Hillary as it is, but I can actually put those to the side and say that what she did that was wrong was that the debate that was going on in the 2016 election was, what kind of country are we? Are we a Donald Trump country where we're like America #1, big foam finger, fuck right. Yeah, we're the best.
You get it. See, that's the thing that Trump. That's the thing that Trump did.
I'm still talking.
Go ahead.
Versus the other
that's
thing
how you
in
do
the other
it. Direction
would have been a return to, like, a socialist sort of system, if you will, where we have massive wealth distribution from the top to the bottom. We have universal health care. We have maybe less war. We have all of these things. That was the debate that was going on in the country between which of those two countries we want, with Donald Trump representing one type of country and Bernie Sanders representing another type of country. Hillary Clinton was representing the country that we've already decided we don't want to be, so she had no ground. So she was actually destroying the actual debate that we needed to have by her continuing to exist there.
And that's why Bernie Sanders should have been the nomination for the Democrat Party. Yes,
yeah, I'm not saying I vote for him, but he deserved to be the nominee for 2016. It would have been the honest
right, and
discussion.
we kicked that can down the road, and now we're gonna have it in 2020. So yeah, you get it. You're spot on, buddy.
I don't think that she represented what we don't want to be. I just think that she represented what we've been, and we can do better. You know, like everybody who voted for Obama by the end of the presidency. Well, no, okay, maybe I'm exaggerating here, but a great deal of people recognized that his whole shtick about change was just rhetoric, and they did not want someone else who was going to do the same. They wanted, you know, but guys, I actually have to get going. I'm sorry. I this has been an interesting conversation.
Could you answer my Warren question before you?
What?
Could you answer my? Because I'm really curious about that. Like, what do you find about Warren that makes you nervous about her as opposed to Bernie? Like a concrete thing or list of things that she did or didn't do.
I'm not that nervous about her. I think that she's actually done some really fantastic things and some like. Her,
yeah, but you prefer others, and I'm just curious what she's done that makes.
I mean, like for instance, there's a couple things I heard her. So some things that she had to say about universal health care, and she kind of hedges around it. You know, like in one way, she'll at certain points she'll sound enthusiastic about it, and then she'll also say certain things that make it sound like she, in the end, may not fight as hard as some others would for universal health care, and will be more kind of, let's just try and tweak this, what we have right now a little bit for people. She has said some things that have totally could lead me to believe that. Then also when it comes to super PAC money, I saw an interview with her where, well, you know, she has agreed not to take any money for now, but she was asked, when you get to the general elections, will you still do that?
That whole thing's a smoke screen.
And I don't care about that like that.
Well, I do. I do, and I think that is, you know, kind of a.
The reason why I say that's a smokescreen is because Kamala Harris also signed the same pledge to not take any PAC-funded money. So CNN just gives her Time Warner just gives her $120,000 in individual contributions.
I take Warren in a heartbeat over Kamala Harris.
No, I understand that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the whole pledge thing is bullshit and doesn't mean anything.
I have one thing I want to say.
It does mean something if you're genuine about it. I mean, that the whole reason why people are doing it to begin with was because of the fact that Bernie Sanders did it, and he did it honestly, and he did it like, you know, just it was just he created the whole thing. And so everybody, it's so funny because there's so many people in the media and in like the Democratic establishment who will point to Bernie and say like, oh, he's not a real Democrat, oh, he's not one of us, yet at the same time all of these
that argument is old because he's joined the party now.
So many of these people are adopting his policies and the things that he does because they know that the American people love it, and so it's just it's such bullcrap. Because at the end of the day, most of these people, and I don't think Warren is one of them, but most of these people are just full of shit, and they're just, you know, Trump did it too. Trump took a whole bunch of, you know, he would not have been anti TPP. Is it TPP? The
inertia.
I mean, there were a number of things that he realized that, hey, if I adopt these things, I will gain some leverage because you know, these are differences between Bernie and Hillary that exist that really resonated with people. So you know,
he was playing to win as opposed to being principled.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of the Democratic nominees are doing the same with this shit. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that I think that they're going to be as lame with, you know, like I think that there is a disparity between them and Trump. Like, they may do a little bit of this stuff, but anyhow, as I said, I do have to get going. I've enjoyed this as always.
Thanks for stopping by, mate.
Hey, Vadim, I have one thing I want to say to you. Vadim, can you grow your beard out, dude? The beard's working.
We've already discussed this.
Dude, it's in the process. I fucked it up, dude. I was shaving, and I just like I fucked up my mustache, and I had to restart. And I've officially reached the age where I have no business not having a beard, unless maybe I'm like super svelte. I think when you reach like the age of like 35 to 40, like unless you're like, I don't know, like a Brad Pitt or something, you really can't get away with you know what I look like? I look like Joey from Friends after he's eaten.
Oh, you do?
Way too many carbs and like been binge drinking for 3 days and woke up in a gutter. I realize this about myself. So until so I'm glad that, well, at least I think my face is not being broadcast on this. I think just my avatar is.
Your face, totally.
The answer is yes. I'm growing out my beard until I lose another 15 to 20 pounds. So that at that point, I think I can rock not having a
We'll have
beard,
to see. We'll be the judge of that.
No, like if you grow out, if you grow your beard out, you're gonna look like the guy from 300. What's his name? I forget now.
Leonidas.
Leonidas. You're gonna look like Leonidas, dude. It's fucking for sure. Grow the beard out, buddy. Grow that beard out.
I've never really like been able to grow a really thick beard, because when it starts getting really thick, it itches all the time, and I can't handle it. So
well, you have to use conditioner on your beard. Just put like some conditioner in there when you're in the shower, and then it won't itch anymore. I'm telling you, I have a beard.
Are there any more questions for Vadim?
Beard owner.
Could I just, Vadim, you remember before we went live, you were talking about the EU?
Yeah.
And the problems with the EU. If you look in the side chat, I've linked a page from the European Union that lists all the lies, and there's lots of them, that the British press has dropped for 40 years about the EU. This includes straight bananas and stuff like that. It is you'll find it quite enlightening.
Okay, thank you. I'm clicking on it right now, and I will check it out later. This is the Euromyths thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you for coming by, man.
Well, thanks for that. I appreciate it. I'll give that a look. Brexit is something that I'd like to be more kind of proficient with, but I feel like I know more than standard American about it, but I certainly don't think I know enough to like hold my own in some sort of debate. So I would never.
I don't know shit about it at all, and I fucking commented on all the fucking time.
I can explain Brexit. So they all decided. So half the country decided to leave the European Union, and then everyone went, okay, but how? And then everyone went, well, I don't know. And they went, well, how about this? And they were like, no. And they're like, how about this? And they're like, no. And they're like, how about this? And they're like, no. And so it's been for the last 2 years.
Yeah,
right.
That's actually a pretty good rundown.
I think probably the best way.
If you listen to my podcast, the game is
best way to describe it is this, guys. The best way to describe it is this. They basically said, look, let's go to the park, and everyone was like, well, how do you want to get to the park? And we said, well, maybe walk, maybe drive. And we were like, what? Get shot out of a cannon? They're like, Project Fear. And then when we get there, they're like, right, who's going to go in the cannon first? And we're like, what? But you said that was Project Fear. No, this is what we wanted. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, we're going to the park by being shot out of a cannon. But nobody voted for that. Yes, you did. No, we didn't. We were voting against that. And it's like, everybody wanted the cannon. Get in the cannon. Just get in the cannon. And it's pretty much that.
Guys, I see in the chat. I'm really gonna have to get going in a second because I have to go to the bathroom so bad that if I don't, I will go right here in this chair. But I see that Melody Dickens says that she has a question for me.
She has a feminist moment for you.
I'll drop out now.
If she wants, okay, all right, yeah, that's cool.
So Mel, you've got the link. You know what to do.
Get in here quick. I don't want to. I don't want to soil these pants.
That is gross.
That was
okay,
a poor
Fox can come back now.
That sounded really disgusting. Sorry.
It did.
Apologize for.
It really did.
It's
too bad Fox left because I'm talking with the EU. That's okay.
Time delay 3, 2, 1, and join. Oh, she's slow.
It takes a few seconds. Give her a chance.
Oh, good God! I mean,
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna hit the can, and then I have a few extra minutes, so I'll be back, and I'd love to speak with Melody. She's delightful. All right,
Melody is a gem.
Yeah. The one thing about Brexit that I find the one thing I find annoying about Brexit is that they're wasting the EU's time with their bullshit. Okay, just get the
cares? Oh, the EU's valuable time. Have you seen those parliamentary debates? They don't do shit with it.
I like the parliamentary debates.
Hi guys, sorry.
It's Mel's feminist moment.
No, it's not feminist moment.
Oh,
it's a struggling with outdated technology moment.
Mel is feminine
I
and
don't know
having a
if you
moment,
can
but
fit
it's
that
not
into a
feminist.
cue
Certainly
card.
sounded like it to me.
I'm trying to run you through my tape deck and then out through. Oh, there we go. I
This
think
seems
I got
unwise.
I think I might have it. No, you're still coming through the
Drew,
tape deck.
have you just run off and started talking to your missus?
No, hang on. Headphones.
Don't forget to mute when you do run off and do that.
Okay, let's try that.
Yeah, we can hear you fine. Can you hear us fine?
No, but I can hear you through my tape deck.
Right.
Hang on.
Okay.
So I've got the old aux, the new aux adapter. I'm sticking into the phones, and then I'm sticking my headphones into that. And I would stick my headphones into the computer, but these headphones have a built-in microphone that doesn't work. That just automatically automatically disables my external speakers. So I have a new aux to RCA cable that's plugged into the return of the tape deck, and then I've got an adapter to a new aux cable coming from the headphone slot. But for some reason, you're coming through the tape deck.
Have you made sure that you've got the tape only thing on? Have you switched that thing on your amplifier?
Yeah, no, it says tape. I'll try CD.
You know, Vadim is here now, and he does have to go soon. So if you want to ask his question,
yeah, go for it.
My question was just whether I could come in the Hangouts because it was like all full up. What
the fuck?
Sorry.
I thought you actually had a question for Vadim.
Well, I don't know.
You just used me to get in the chat. I see now.
Where's the cats? Show me the cat.
Excuse.
Cat is indisposed.
Oh right. Oh yeah. She you know.
Although
Mel is a bit of a super fan of Creationist Cat. She gets all gooey.
Right here.
Oh, it's the real cat.
She's going gooey again. Go on then, gush away.
Oh shoot, that's my pizza done. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Well,
enjoy your evening, Vadim.
Obviously, pizza takes precedent over gushing all over Creationist Cat. Nice.
All right. Well,
I was just about to ask you about the. I believe Creationist Cat had an interview with a Miss. What was her name? Anna Kasparian of all people. Yes.
And yeah, I'm editing it. Like I'm having. It took me a while to get to it because of certain bullshit that went on recently that I'm not going to go into.
Gotcha, boys.
But I finally got. I'm having a blast doing it. It's basically like we cover some other stuff, but we basically dunk on Dave Rubin the entire time. I'm really psyched about it in terms of like the Dave Rubin ponage because I think it's very thorough. She says it's really interesting. Just she's very candid. I think it's something that because people notoriously do not like TYT or her. I mean, there are lots of people who do, but just a shitload of people who don't. And I really think that most people who are not total assholes who just don't like TYT, I still think that if they gave the interview a shot, they'd at least walk away thinking like, oh yeah, she's pretty cool, because she's just great. She answered everything so candidly, really fucking funny. Just a classy fucking girl. And
you're gonna go on a second date.
And no, she's married, but yeah, you know,
doesn't stop Mycroft.
One thing that I have to say about her that's really interesting is, you know, doing Creationist Cat Chat. There's a lot of YouTube e-celebs who I have contacted, and a lot of people have given me yeses, and it's just funny because it's actually 9 times out of 10, it's the most successful people that will keep their plans. Because I'm not making it sound like everybody disses me, but I've had a good handful of disappointments. People that I was supposed to collaborate with who ghosted me, or you know, and I did shit like I wrote scripts. You know, again, you know, and it's just funny because, you know, people like Shepard Fairey, who I don't know if you know who that is, but he's an extraordinarily, you know, he's actually one of the most literally one of the most successful artists in the world. Max Landis, who is somewhat controversial these days, but he's a very successful screenwriter. The Needle Drop, Anthony Fantano. I mean, those are some of the most high-profile people who I have, you know, tried to get on the show, and it's usually people who have like half, if that, you know, the amount of e-fame or accomplishments under their belt, who actually will go through with actually doing the interview. So just the fact that she did that, knowing that she is so ridiculously busy, that alone gave me so much you know, admiration for her. But yeah, that should be coming out probably Tuesday or Wednesday. I just released today, or rather CC released a video on Star Wars entitled Star Wars Episode 9 Hates White People, all about how
seeing it.
It's obvious that Episode 9 hates alpha white males. And you know, this is CC's opinions here, not my own, of course. And what?
I just came back, and all I hear is Episode 9 hates white supremacy.
Yeah, no, it's a Creationist Cat video. So
how can you?
It's by no means my own opinion. I think I think people who hold those opinions are fucking idiots. But
to be fair, that's better than what people are actually saying about the trailer.
Yeah.
Right, one at a time, guys. One at a time. Take a pick. Like, get a number or something.
He's
right.
not going
number
anywhere.
72.
Like, come on, chill out.
I'll take number 2.
CC just speaks truth to power, yo, and this Orwellian nightmare that is political correctness gone mad. Sorry, that's my phone.
It's difficult because you know, it's like on one hand, a lot of the people that I would like to attract to CC will see a video title like Star Wars Episode 9 hates white people, and they just won't fucking click on it because they don't realize that, well, CC would disagree with it.
That's not your audience, though, is it?
But it's parody. And like so the people who I would really like to see it often are just like, oh no, more of that anti-SJW crap. You know, so it's like, I can't get a break. But yeah, no, it's probably going to be out either Tuesday or Wednesday. You know, I need like a few days to kind of just have a break in between, because it's, you know, you don't want to put one video out and then the other. But I'm really liking the video so far, and I should be finishing the edit either tonight or tomorrow afternoon.
I'm expecting a preview.
And then I'm going to be doing a video on my own. I think I'm either going to be doing a video that has to do with talking about alt-right memes having to do with white genocide, or I might do a video on that crazy Corby girl. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? She has like 800,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
She's 14 years old, but she looks like she's 14 months old. and she is like,
you'll do, not CC.
Total fucking alt-right, like just slipping into the red pill land.
Oh boy. So you yeah. This this is the old meme, my friend.
That girl is not 14. She's.
That is what was her name? The one that crowd chased off the internet. What was her name?
She's 12, I think.
Crowd?
No. Yeah, like back in the day.
Somebody is broadcasting from a beach right now. It sounds like waves.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of static.
That's not me.
Oh, wait. Is it me? It might be me because I'm running this.
Just mute yourself for a second.
Okay.
No, you remember it was Pole's girlfriend.
Maybe it's Drew.
What was her name? Rage After Storm. That was her name. Name.
Am I generating like feedback or something? I'm using a super slim.
That was Drew. It was Drew. It wasn't you. It was Drew.
Now it's good. Yeah,
it was Drew.
Okay.
It's always Drew.
What kind of noise are you making? Sorry about that.
Be very careful. Be very careful when you're going after Pole's girlfriends, because they will make a project out of you, sir. So just. I appreciate what you're doing. Just be careful.
You know how they like to fap.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, if I make a good video, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't kind of bank on this. That I'm not making this video for that reason. This is the first time, to tell you the truth, that has occurred to me. But if the video, say, like, gets yanked. And this is a CC video, not a CC video. It would be a video that I would host. I'm hoping that maybe, I don't know, some of the people in like LeftTube and shit would have my back and repost, because they're usually pretty good about that. They don't usually do that with CC, because CC is weird and niche and whatnot. But anyway, you know what? That's a lot of speculation on my part. I have no fucking clue what they would do. But I do have to get going. So
let him go. Vadim, run.
You were supposed to leave like 20 minutes ago, man.
Really quick, one more question from Melody, if she wants to give it to.
Let him go. Okay. Nice. Okay. Number one, would you, just a yes or no question, would you ship Philosophy Tube and Natalie Wynn from ContraPoint?
No.
Would I what?
Would you ship them? Like, is that? Yep. Okay, Bill. Number two.
I don't understand what you mean by ship them.
Like, would you
my God, who cares?
Okay, fine. That's stupid.
I love their work, and I'm trying to get I'm trying to get a video together where I interview both Philosophy Tube, Mexi, and Peter Coffin about their views on communism and socialism and whatnot. But
do you ship us, Sads? Do you ship us?
Yeah. Okay, last two questions. One, that's a keyboard I see in the back. Do you play?
I do, but I'm fucking horrible at it. I use GarageBand, which is a kind of a ghetto music program that comes with Mac, and I can do some pretty decent things, but because they have these awesome loops and stuff. But basically, I really don't know how to play. I just find like random chords, and I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds good, and I'm inept with it, but I use it a little bit.
Work around.
So yeah.
Okay, and last question: can I be on a show with CC sometime?
Yeah,
she wants to be another gotcha boy.
Maybe we can make a cameo happen. It's unfortunate with like a YouTube channel where like I have so many friends who I think are very talented, and sort of like if I was not involved with Creationist Cat, I would probably neither be in Creationist Cat videos or get the chance to be in Creationist Cat videos or other, because when you're like a career YouTuber, you have to kind of either work. It sounds so like elitist and shit. Most of the time, you have to work with people who either have similar like views or subs, or you know how it works, or people like big up and comers and shit like it's just like it's sad but true. Like there are a lot of very talented people that I would be, because you have to both get people to watch the video, and then you have to give those of your patrons like incentive. Like, you know, if you just like take someone who nobody knows, then sometimes it depends though, you know, like if there was some like insanely extraordinarily talented person that I was like, okay, this person could blow up and they're just so good that then maybe it would be a different thing. But still, maybe I can find some way to incorporate you as like a cameo or something. Like a
voice or something, or I don't know, in a skit, or I don't know. It's becoming more popular now, just getting randos to do voiceovers and videos. No. Yeah. Anyway, I'll let you go.
Well, I'm flattered by, you know, just the question itself. A great day. All right.
I like your work, Fabian.
Networking is for the green room, not in front of the audience.
No, it's for everyone to see, right? Okay, I'll let you go, Fadim. Sorry to bug you.
I'll see if you guys are still around in like 3 hours or so. If so, maybe I'll drop it. All right.
Thanks, mate. Take it easy.
Yeah, take it easy, guys. Have a good one.
Later, Vadim. You keep that weird fucking sexy bitch.
Yeah, next time you see me, the beard will probably.
All right, Leonidas, you just calm down there, bud.
Right. I want it at 4 levels. Okay.
Well done for nobody mentioning the Gotcha Boys. Well done.
So we were. Oh yeah. So okay. You guys were talking about the WikiLeaks guy and stuff, and then about abortion. And I said in the comments, I don't know if it was read out loud or not, but basically, okay, so like if your whole argument against abortion is that it goes against thou shalt not kill and stuff, your solution to someone, in quotation marks, killing an embryo is to kill people.
Yeah, even Mycroft agrees.
Is this me? Do I jump in here? Like, what am I?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm gonna go later.
So, could I just raise a point?
We can have the abortion debate. You want to do that?
Mycroft, shut up.
No, you.
No, you be quiet.
Good point, Silverfox.
I'd just like to raise a point with Mel. I dropped out so you could go gushy on someone.
Yes. I think you're right to be object to this.
Bit rude, Mel. You owe him an apology.
No.
I would just like to start this abortion debate with the sheer fact that libertarians are all fucking retarded.
Yeah, I mean, you were saying that
you were buying dinner next time.
No, I don't. I agree with the sentiment. I guess I don't know.
I mean, I think that Mel was talking about the whole Texas makes abortion a death sentence. You know,
yeah, that doesn't make even any sense.
Yeah, it's like you killed someone, so our solution is to kill you. It's like that's the ultimate eye for an eye.
But why are you killing me? Because killing is wrong.
The death penalty is technically its own question as far as. Like, it's not really aligned with conservative values either. So
that's one of the big ones, isn't it? I was led to believe. That's
no, see, there you go, conflating Christian values with conservative values.
Well, let's be honest, folk. Without capital punishment, there would be no Christianity.
Yeah. Also, Mycroft. Yeah, also, Mycroft, one thing, I think that putting death penalty for abortion is just going to make the queue for the death penalty in Texas much longer. They literally cannot kill them fast enough. They have prisons built just for these people.
Sure.
Death row is
I'm not pro death penalties. I
know that. I'm just saying that it's like it's like Texas, stop it. Stop with this bullshit. You're just making your death row queue longer now.
All
it's going to happen.
The death penalty really comes out of Oh. Do you remember the gold rush?
Yeah.
Which
well, not
one?
personally. Actually, yes, personally. I was there.
You're on about what's it? 49ers.
The land staking. Do you know what? Do you know how? Do you know how you kept your land stake? By not getting shot.
I do remember there was a period where the Americans decided to give the Native Americans certain land, but then later discovered that that land had gold in it. So it was like, well, we'll just kind of take it back.
What, in California? In California? Oh.
Way to go,
we
America.
actually, oddly enough, the big problem with the Native Americans was never to do with
it's because they're brown.
The federal state. It
really
was more to
so
do
brown,
like oh no, well you're American, you know the fucking Trail of Tears, right?
I'm vaguely.
Do you know why we fucking relocated all those Indians?
Because they had shit that we wanted.
No, that's a big nopers. Have you ever looked into it?
Fairly, yeah, because like I grew up in Alaska and there were a lot of Indians there. Sorry, Native Americans.
No, you don't know.
They weren't
okay,
really
so the reason the Trail of Tears happened, right? The reason that we marched all those Indians onto another reservation was because one of the states had a whole bunch of people who were really fucking ready to kill all of these Indians because the Indians were coming in and raiding and taking livestock from these people. And they basically petitioned the government and they said, look, either you do something or we're going to do something. So the federal government stepped in and said, we're going to march all these fucking Indians off into a different land so that they don't get massacred. Well, sure. And the military and
they were sad about leaving.
Yeah, well, the military did a really bad job of it. But
they could just told the people that complained in the first place. Okay.
But if you look at American colonialism and how we treated the fucking Indians in the fucking first place, they got a good deal. Because here's the thing, those
you tell them that.
those in like Alabama. Because here's what would have happened: they would have raised the militia and they would have just gone in and fucking killed all of them. So. Would you rather be dead, or would you rather have a really long walk?
I don't disagree with your argument. I just want you to make it to an actual Native American and watch what happens.
I don't give a
man,
shit.
Guys, you missed probably an excellent fucking pun there. Shall I try that again?
Go.
Talking about death in Texas.
Oh God.
A Republican. Oh come on, that's fucking brilliant. That's the best pun. That's the best pun you're gonna hear all night.
Everyone dies everywhere. It's including Texas. It's
talking death and Texas. Okay, remember we were talking about the abortion.
Death in Texas.
Yeah,
right.
Well, sure. Death in Texas. Yeah,
were we? I was kind of trying to.
Those are the things you can never avoid, my friend.
Yeah, it works in his accent. Anyway, the Republican Texas lawmaker who halted a bill to outlaw abortion now faces security concerns. Apparently, Collin County Sheriff has said that his office is looking into security concerns related to Representative Jeff Leach, days after the Plano Republican announced that he would not allow a controversial abortion bill to leave his committee for a vote to the full House.
Plano.
And I think it's a very good reason as to why. It's because it's just going to get thrown out anyway. Because as far as I was aware, this would not actually go. This would be knocked down eventually.
You're right. And here's the thing, man. Like you have if you have something that actually gets, I wouldn't say passed, but like the Supreme Court reviews and says that the states can no longer do X, Y, and Z, they're going to continue to try to do X, Y, and Z, especially if it comes to abortion. Problem is that basically all you've done there is you've slowed them down. So now they're going to pass laws that are eventually going to have to go up to the Supreme Court. And by the time the Supreme Court says that's unconstitutional, guess what? They've already passed another law that basically does the exact same thing. So this is why we don't. This is why we don't legislate from the Supreme Court. This is why we shouldn't be doing this. And this is why the United States is really fucking retarded.
You shouldn't really have countries then if you're going to be a United States, because you're not actually united.
We weren't. Well, we were supposed to be these United States, but then we fought a war. Hey, Silver Fox.
Yes.
Jamie says hi.
Hello, Jamie.
Do you want to say hello to Jamie?
I always love saying hello to Jamie because she's the sensible one of the two.
Uh-huh. The sensible one?
Yes.
All right, here you go.
Hello, Jamie. How are you?
Hi, Silver Fox.
Hello, dear.
Hello, Jamie. Have we had Jamie on before?
Yes, she's.
I come on every now and then. Hello.
Hello.
She's Drew's better half.
Nice to have some more women in here.
Jamie sounds like she's got some big titties.
Why is this like?
Not my fault. You invited me in here.
What is what?
Why is the open house always? Why is the open house always filled with men?
I know, right?
It's the open house. It allows anybody in. It's just men wandering the streets.
Just
the
sausage party.
I know,
With the
right?
greatest respect, Mel. You wanted to come in. A man dropped out for you.
Well, yeah, but it's
once again inheriting what men had before.
No, that's not it.
Robin's clearly trying to start a sexist institution. That's basically it.
The problem is Mycroft tries to hit on every single one that joins in, because that's Mycroft.
And you know what? 90% of the time, it works 10% of the time, buddy.
Mycroft, let's be fair. How many times has G.I. Beshi got big titties ever worked for you?
It's worked plenty of times. But
how many times has your erection lasted longer than 4 hours?
Have you met like half these bitches on the fucking internet? Please.
No, Mycroft, we're not that stupid.
That's the other thing.
The fact that you've managed half so far worries everybody.
Yes. That's the other thing. Like the open house at times, like I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna say, like it's the epitome of men interrupting. Like the amount of times that Robin has to say one person at a time. It's like, oh my god.
That's just me. I interrupt everybody. You know?
Mel, have you ever been to a
I'm begging your pardon.
Yeah,
Bro, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, this is the thing.
If I get my thought out before everyone else gets their thought out, then I win.
It's just like The View, isn't it?
That was the joke.
It's just like The View.
Yeah, but no, actually,
like that's true. That's totally true.
Interrupting is really a science. Like you have to do it correctly just to piss off the woman correctly. Yeah,
man, interrupting is really a science.
I did actually see something recently on men interrupting on I think it was a comment etiquette video. It was like one of the responses, and like I feel like I have to hand in my feminist badge and my feminist gun now because like I don't know, it made me
Mel's
laugh.
feminist moment.
Interrupting cow.
No, I don't know if this. Well, basically, it was this video and stuff that was just explaining what some interrupting is. It's kind of a systemic thing that's kind of just sort of accepted that men will sometimes talk over women, but it does. Like it affects us and it affects like our confidence and stuff. And then one of the responses was just like, then speak up, you effing C's. And like I was like,
I talk over women all the time. I talk over Pascal all the time.
Mycroft, right? You talk over everybody all the time.
Just misgendered you. You will refer to Pascal as they.
Can I finish my story? And so I just love the fact that this guy's solution is just everybody just shout louder. That'll solve the problem.
This is a British show, madam.
I'm living in America, Melody. I don't know.
This is an English-speaking and family show.
Mel, you clearly haven't met my mom. My mom can fucking talk over people all day long.
He's taught you a lot, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, it's like sometimes she just talks over my brother or my father. And I just pull out my phone and I'm not even gonna give a shit anymore. We can't go any further.
Moms develop a skill for it. They have to talk over their kids. That's why, you know, older women are dangerous.
Whoa, they're not. They're
That's
lovely.
why they call them cougars.
Older
not
women
kittens.
are like stupid hot because like they do all the weird shit.
What? There's all the weird shit. I mean, what?
Yeah, you're not old. Do all the freaky shit for sure.
Yeah, filthy, absolutely filthy.
Filthy.
Jamie's done. You all offended her.
Women. Oh man.
I don't know.
love
I mean,
it.
Nice job, Mycroft.
Mycroft, do you mind? My mother's 90. How filthy is she?
Well, obviously there's a limit, Silver Fox. Come on now.
So you're saying my mother's not good enough for you now?
I don't know. Well, I mean,
she's ginger.
We'll talk.
She
later,
was
Phil.
ginger.
We'll talk later, Phillips.
She was ginger. She's now a bit silver.
I mean,
Guys.
can she still like rotate the hips though?
Yeah. She teaches. She teaches horse riding.
How the fuck do you know? Oh, okay.
Oh hell
How do
yeah!
I
She's
know?
horse riding.
She's
Yeah,
horse
it's
riding.
on now, buddy. It's
We were
on now.
about damn horses earlier. I don't know what you're talking about.
Guys.
Yeah.
Melody.
On a separate
I was the one who brought it out
Christopher?
about what?
I'm interrupting.
On a separate note, I've made a terrible mistake. So I went to Tesco to pick up a pizza. I saw stuffed crust, and you're thinking it's stuffed with cheese. That's what stuffed crust means. No, this has like friggin' tomato sauce in the crust. Who wants that? Who made this?
Well, if you DM me your address, I'll get a taxi.
I think that tomato sauce and crust sounds awesome. I would say probably not as awesome as cheese. But
With little bits of basil in
good
there.
to me.
I'll be honest, I don't think any stuffed crust I prefer would be with tomato. I don't like cheese.
Well, you can't just put like tomato sauce in there. That's stupid.
Hold on. Why in the ever-loving fuck would you be eating a pizza if you don't like cheese?
Fair point.
Yeah, it's just bread without cheese.
Don't have to have mozzarella on a pizza. I mean, I will admit it's traditional, but you can have other substances on it, like pepperoni.
Fish.
I mean, obviously not pineapple. I mean, that's worse than cheese.
Yeah, that's heresy in my country. That's literal heresy. Like, there's a law that says you can't put that shit on pizza.
Yeah, they have a word for that.
Why even have a pizza really if there's no cheese on it? Like, what's the point of that exactly?
It's called bruschetta, is what it's called.
It's called bruschetta.
Yeah, like tomato sauce on like
bread. God, you can't even
Could we
say
point out you're on a
bruschetta.
British channel? It's tomato, not tomato.
I say tomato.
No, you don't.
I also say
Colonials talking
aluminum.
about food again.
Yeah.
Get rid of my pepperoni.
The country that invented spray on cheese is trying to tell the
Yeah,
world
you're welcome.
how to colonize, you know.
Actually,
We also turned the croissant into the croissant. You're welcome for that, America.
Yeah. You also tried to claim Yorkshire puddings.
Dr. Dennis
Silver.
Leary is in the house.
Thank you, Pascal. He knows my shit.
Silver. I've got to hand it to the Americans. Cheese Whiz is the single greatest invention ever. It's American processed cheese as a spread. That is wow.
I'm sorry.
We don't have it in the
Fuck,
UK.
Silver Fox.
Good. Just no. No. Dara, you will never come back here again. And pizza spelt with a double Z, you.
No, it's really great. No. It's great on English muffins, which ironically you can't get in England.
Oh,
So
you can't beat a nice English muffin for nah.
What's really great is if you take two soda crackers and you put like the Cheese Whiz on one, you put the Cheese Whiz on the other, and then you make a little Cheese Whiz sandwich.
Cheese Whiz sandwich, yeah, that's on that for sure.
Look,
You
the
mean something next to that
Strato
creamy
launch.
stuff.
The Strato launch has finally taken its first flight. with a wingspan of 385 feet. Fucking huge. 6 engines, like 20 odd wheels or something, some shit like that. It's fucking ridiculous. 28 wheels. Just to land this fucking. Sexy. It's got like 2 fuselages. It's mental.
If you didn't have as many engines, you wouldn't need as many wheels.
Well, it is supposed to launch vehicles from it.
Bigger is better. Bigger is better. Excuse you,
Mel. Sometimes you need extra thrust.
So they're actually making the shield base.
They've
made
a flying.
They've made the flying shield base. They've made shield for Marvel. Then essentially,
it should be able. It should be able to get satellites into low Earth orbit.
Okay. That should annoy the flat earthers quite well.
I have something extremely weird to say.
Okay.
First time you've had to announce it.
Well, are you ready?
Born ready.
All right. Here we go. Melody has a very nice nose.
Thank you very much.
You should see the rest of it.
How is this weird exactly?
I don't know. I was setting it up to be weird. Did it work?
I don't know. Like I
has
appreciate
a history of coming on to ladies, especially on this show.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Mel was asking why we don't have many women come on.
My crap on the prowl.
Well,
Sorry.
Stop it!
Right, Alice comes on the show. Michael tries and hits on her, then they have to go and have a shower.
You man interrupting asshole!
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh boy!
This is why I drink. This is.
No, come on. May I ask you a question?
Apparently not.
May one ask a question? Has anyone seen the latest Christy Winters contribution to the world?
No.
I was gonna watch that one, but the one about where she was talking about Assange.
No. This is about because one of the great things about British democracy is, and bring it back to Brexit, because we were talking about the Euro MP elections and things like that earlier. Carl has announced himself as an MEP for the southwest of England. So Christie's started to gather every single thing that he's done and said that's not very pleasant.
I wouldn't even rape you. I wouldn't even.
Well, I mean, the articles are already out there. They're already talking about his issues with
rape.
That MP, what's her face? Yeah, like it's already happening. It's already happening. Like she doesn't. Christy Winters literally doesn't have to do fucking anything.
Yeah. Wait. Hang on. Carl Swindon.
Yeah, is running for an MEP, not MP.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like the guy is running to be in the European Parliament. Guys, please don't. We really don't need to hate you anymore. Like you're getting to the point of.
You know what the funny thing is like nobody fucking realizes that that it's not just Sargon. It's also Count Dankula. Count Dankula is also running.
I read about all that. I wasn't quite sure that was true until you guys just said it.
Robin, for the love of God!
Sorry.
Stop!
Robin.
No, I'm just making up.
I'm getting into the song. Come on.
You should find out
the creative
soon
process.
That Paul Joseph Watts will also be doing it as well.
Guess the kikes up, yeah. Guess the
And if may I put a shout out to anybody who's got the clip where Cargon is sniffing, or sorry, basically snorting Lemsip, because it wouldn't be coke, because coke's.
There was fake news, man. He wasn't actually doing coke.
I've seen it. I've seen him. I saw the bloody clip, mate. I just haven't.
I saw it. I saw it too. That was like an alt-right meme that was actually going around. It didn't actually happen.
I'm kind of surprised that after all the shit you've given to the organization, the EU is still allowing you to participate in the election.
I'm not.
Well, yeah, until like the until you actually fucking leave. Yeah, sure. The MVPs are still gonna obviously have some sort of say.
The funniest bit is that if we do leave and we apply within 10 years to join back up again, we will have 0 power like we have now.
Not just that, you'll have
most of the laws in the EU, the UK has been linked with in some respect.
Yeah, you started them. It's like, hey, how about we do this? And pretty much everyone is like, yeah, that's a good idea. And now, there are people saying, oh, they're imposing shit on us. No, it's more like you giving them an idea and then saying, yeah, that's a smart one. Okay, let's do it.
Kind of the way that I've been looking at Brexit lately is like a Yu-Gi-Oh card game, right? No joke. But you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah,
and
we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and they're playing chess.
You slap the cards down on the table, and you're like, "I've got you now." And then the other guy just kind of like walks off from the table, and he's like, "You know what? I'm not doing this. Well, maybe I'm doing this. I'm coming back. Maybe. No, actually, I don't. This game is gay. I'm gonna leave."
No, somebody made a really good tweet about it, and it just says, "Us. We have all the cards. Them. We're playing chess."
It's like you showed up fucking chess game and it's like, oh, I thought we were playing poker, guys. What the hell? Didn't you get the memo?
Yeah, this essentially boils down to that. Like, what trade rules do you want to play by? Which trade rules are you going to benefit the most from? And
we want what we're looking for is to basically threaten them by saying that we'll go with trade rules that even Somali wouldn't like. And they're sitting there kind of going, as opposed to having it all without what, eh? And the Europeans just don't understand it. It's like we're going to blow this nigger's head off, and it's like, mate, this isn't Blazing Saddles. What are you talking about? It's just,
well, this is the argument that should have always have been made from day one on the Brexit side, right? Is someone from the EU coming in and deposing your queen, right? Or deposing your parliament? That's not happening, correct? So therefore, you do still have autonomy, correct? Correct?
Yeah, but yes. Minecraft, we the EU is completely undemocratic, and that's why we're taking part in the EU elections.
Well, I don't agree with the EU by
the way
for a lot of different reasons, but like
they have standards over there, like food hygiene.
The argument that's being made that this is
like
somehow
Human Rights Act.
Well, no, because this is the way that it's been displayed has been basically like this is a German project that's going to take over Europe via trade, and it's like,
dude, they're saying it's like the USSR or Nazi Germany. It's like, well, if it was, you wouldn't be here criticizing it now, would you, Mr. Farage?
Well, I'm not a fan of these. I'm not a fan of these like huge projects either. Like if the U.S. was to start doing that, like in the U.S. we have a trade program with all of South America, right? But if like we were starting to like trade power over like what individual states were allowed to do, I would be against that. So that's why I'm like against the EU. But like the fact that the argument that's being made to denounce the EU is that they're going to actually be able to like usurp your actual country's rights and like what you can do in your country, it's bullshit. It's not real.
Yeah, I mean, for fuck's sake, it's literally 28 people going yes at the same time on something. Everybody has veto power and everybody has to say yes. So good fucking luck getting anything through. This is why everything is just so watered down, because you have to please 28 people.
What I'm saying is that there are plenty of good reasons to be against the EU, but the idea that like what it seems like is like most Europeans right now, including Carl believe that like the EU is like some dictatorial magnate that's going to come in and strip rights from people, and that's nonsense.
I mean, it's like, dude, if it was, you wouldn't be alive. You do know what a dictatorship is, Carl, or are you just screaming the words you don't know?
Well, I mean, like if we want to talk about fake news, this is fake news.
Yeah, I mean, for fuck's sake, it's like a dictatorship wouldn't allow criticism. I'm sorry, my country went to a dictatorship, and hearing the fucking Brits say this, it's like, really? The guys that had an empire and basically shot anyone that said, "Can we please have independence, guys? You're basically been bleeding us dry. Evil, kill him." It's like, yeah, that's great.
Hey, yes, I was just about to actually say, Melody. Have you guys You guys are aware that Farage has started his new Brexit party, right? Have you seen the logo for that? It's literally an arrow pointing to the far right.
What? I want to see it. Show. Picture, it didn't happen, my dude.
God, seriously. It's like he wants to come. It's like, Britain, please fucking sort yourself out. You really are pushing the continent. You really are pushing the continent to the point of we're gonna fucking blockade you.
I have no issue.
The way I see it. The way I see it is like the UK and Europe were in a relationship, and then the UK decided to post all over all our social medias that we're breaking up with you. We're unhappy with the relationship, and we're moving out. It'll take about 2 years, but we're moving out. And then the day came, and oh shoot, was that today? And now we've got another 6 months. Okay, so we're just gonna stay another 6 months, and then I promise, we're breaking up with you. We're leaving. I know we told everyone we would, but we'll leave after 6 months, maybe.
Yeah, Melody, you also have to hold on. You've been drinking.
Mel, you also have to add the fact that the UK has been the bitchiest fucking girlfriend you could also find. It's like, I want everything, but I don't want to pay for it. It's like,
that's sexist. Well, take it back.
That's sexist.
I'm just sending an article right now. It's gonna have the picture of the Brexit logo I'm talking about. Is that not an arrow pointing to the far right?
But yeah, I mean, it's this sort of, it's like, for God's sake, Britain, you don't have your empire anymore. Stop thinking like you can fucking take on everybody. You literally are the old person in the fucking pub still trying to get a fight with somebody else. Leave them the fuck alone.
Yeah, but I don't even think that like the UK government believes that. Like the fact that like if you look at what the Tories have been doing.
The problem is that the government is trying to answer to a fucking uber idiotic minority who thinks that the empire is still there. It's like, yeah, sorry guys, your empire is siding with the EU. They literally are siding with the EU. It's like, they attack you, we'll destroy them.
Our brinksmanship has caught up with us.
Yeah, it's like
my
our gunboat diplomacy has caught up with us. Somebody went, don't you need boats for that, mate?
Well, this is the thing. Like, I don't think that you're going to see 52% of the British public rise up to oppose some like going towards like the EU, for example, like having a good EU deal. I don't know, would be a Brexit betrayal. I don't see the British people actually rising up to like stop that. So really, at the end of the day, like, this is nonsense. Like, it's a big show.
Because as I said, this isn't the 52%. This is literally just a minority screaming all the time, we have an empire, they'll fucking kowtow to us because we're the great British. It's like, fuck off.
Well, what is that 52% of people actually willing to do to stop what your government is doing? Because you're obviously, clearly, your government, if your government was actually listening to you, the Brexit shit would have already happened. March 29th, it would have been a hard stop.
It's not. The thing is, mate, is that what they're asking for, and somebody put it best, is they're trying to take the stripes out of the toothpaste. What they're after is what they can't get. That's the problem.
Well, yeah, but like the trade. The funny thing is that like a lot of your financial institutions, including the London bank have basically are going to get blue balls out of all of this because they've been planning for this to actually happen, like the hard Brexit or whatever. They've been waiting for this to happen, and now it's not going to happen. So you're gonna, I don't know, you're not going to see any impact from it. But like, to me, it's funny because like I work for a bank, so like I know how like these operations work. So like when you see something coming down the road and you're not sure if it's actually going to happen or not, you put a whole bunch of policies in place and you're all ready to fucking jump. And then when it doesn't happen, the whole fucking bank falls apart inside. But like you don't say anything because like you don't want the rest of the world to fucking notice. I guarantee you that's actually happened with your London bank. Like they were expecting something to happen, and now they're just like scrambling around. Trying to pretend like, oh no, we knew the extension was coming, guys. Like March 29th was not a hard date. So
I discovered something that shocked me the other day. I think like the pound is now down to something like $1.2. And
so you're kind of below the euro.
We're almost like 1-to-1 with the dollar. Which, like, in the 90s, you could get $2 for every pound. Now we're down to 1.2. It's
1.3,
like, oh my
Do you know
goodness.
what's funny, though, is that the euro is actually stronger than the dollar.
Hang on.
It's actually 1.3.
Go on, Robin.
1.3.
1.3. Okay. We still got the empire. We're still amazing. It's 1.3.
Yeah, no, it is. It's
1.16 compared to the euro. And falling drastically.
It's still good though. Like 1.3 is high.
Is it though? In the 90s, it was $2 almost to every pound.
Well, because like if you look at the purchasing power of a euro versus a dollar in Europe, a dollar is going to basically purchase you about the same amount of shit that you're going to get in the U.S. So the euro is actually doing fucking well. So the monetary value of the euro is strong, and even if it's dropping, as long as it doesn't fall under the dollar, it doesn't matter really. You're still doing fucking fantastic.
It's been consistently climbing up all this year.
The euro has?
Yeah.
I haven't followed it. I don't even know.
By comparison to the dollar, it's been climbing up.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. And the purchasing power, the purchasing power will obviously change as time goes on.
But all the countries we trade with are in Europe because they're our closest geographical neighbors. And as soon as Brexit does go through,
I was saying this, and I know you guys laughed at me, but like this is the truth. Europe is a declining market, and I know you find that funny, but it actually is a declining market because if you look at the overall GDP growth of the United States and China, and then also what Africa is doing right now. Brazil is another fucking perfect example.
India.
Yeah, but we're not talking about just crossing the English Channel anymore. We're talking about crossing the Atlantic or going all the way around France and Italy to
But you're
Africa.
also saying that without relativity. You've got to understand that it's also a mature market.
It is.
Transport costs alone.
Basically, what the issue that you're dealing with right now is basically what Russia had to deal with about like 20 years ago, and Russia's response to this was like, "We'll just fucking sell a shit ton of fucking oil." And now you have like one of two options in Europe proper, all of Europe. You either go full technocrat essentially, and that's probably what the EU is trying to guide you towards. Or you play the protectionist tariff game, and it's not a game you're going to win. So it's one of the two, because here's the thing: Africa, because the low population density is going to outstrip your performance by miles. As soon as they start to actually industrialize, we're all going to be fucked by Africa. Africa is going to fucking kill any sort of like industrial endeavors we have. This is why I kind of laugh at Trump too, because he can't stop that. What are you gonna go? You gonna go nuke Africa?
What are you gonna do? You gonna destroy all the factories? At this point, I don't fucking. I wouldn't put it under. I wouldn't even put it past them. It's like he would literally shoot someone's legs off just to get rid of the competition.
Well, that's kind of why I have like this sneaking suspicion about like, you know, like people say like all the immigration has to do with like, oh, climate change is going to force all these people to come. I think that it's more likely that this is a leverage thing. This is bring all these people into our country, and then we can sit there and like fucking guilt the hell out of the countries that are going to actually be processing a lot of the industry. That's my opinion. I don't know if it's true, but I have a sneaking suspicion that there's some fuckery going on here, and I think that's probably what it is. But I don't know. I don't know shit.
Really, I think it's due to the fact that like tides are shifting and changing, and people try to adapt to them as best as they can, and everyone's got these little conspiracy theories as though somebody actually knows what's going on.
Maybe.
That's what I'm thinking. Everyone blames the system, but I've just got a feeling everyone's still busy trying to make one.
Yeah, also, Mel, with regards to the EU, not only is the EU being very close to you, but it's also where most of your food comes from. So, you're trying to piss off the people that grow all the fucking wheat you have? Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, but it's pretty much all of our food. The only thing our climate is good for growing is potatoes and fungi. So,
I want a potato now.
Go to Ireland.
We've even engineered potatoes that are called purple majestics. I think they're called purple majestics, but basically they're purple.
Which does sound like something from Bad Dragon.
Also, Mel, another thing is that most of your infrastructure and your water supply and your electricity are owned by European companies. So, how about
selling the trains and the fuel and even their cars?
Not just that, Mel. What I'm saying is you're essentially. I mean, Mel, what I'm essentially saying is, if you piss off Europe too much, after a while they're gonna go. Let's just blockade everything. Let's just blockade them. Let's grind all the trains to a halt. Let's close all the taps, and they're gonna suffer. We're just gonna sit there and just close all the taps and just go, enjoy.
On another note, Minecraft, I wanna Robin, can you arrange this? I wanna create like a swear counter for Minecraft.
I can't get a machine to run that fast.
Yes.
Wow, because I'm saying fuck too much. I'm sorry. Yeah,
no, it's not that. It's just like the amount of it's not
a swear jar.
I'm a profanity machine. I'm sorry.
The frequency of swears is almost impressive. I just want to calculate how many times like per minute is.
I'm a fucking sailor. You know, I actually clean up my act when I come in here. Like I actually spend a lot of time when I'm sitting there quiet. Well, Robin's talked to me like off, stream. He knows. I swear like way fucking more than I do now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I've told him to behave himself, and he's trying his best.
Oh man.
It's not working, but he's trying.
I'm doing the best I can.
I didn't say that you were perfect. Because I couldn't.
But yeah, Mel. I mean, it's like I'm looking at the situation with regards to the EU's relationship to the UK. It's like you're pissing off the wrong people. Seriously, just why?
Yeah, we're the country that's potentially censoring the internet right now.
Yeah, Article 13 is so dictatorial. Yeah, it says the kind that basically censors porn, political opposition. And all this stuff, you're basically trying to destroy the internet. But
hang on, we're not censoring political opposition. Although earlier this week, the government finally released their online white paper on online harms and how to tackle them. Yeah. So I can give you a link to the white paper, or at least a good segment of it. It's pretty long to read out. But
this is why I can't take any sort of morality coming from the UK seriously. It's like, you guys are the biggest fucking, perpetrators of all the crimes that go on in the world. And yet, when you go, this is wrong, I was like, fuck off.
But we're not bad people.
Yeah, but I just sent the link right now. And one of the things that certain campaigners have actually pointed out is the simple fact that it's not just illegal content they're trying to have social media or not just social media forums, comment sections, anything with communication and a login. It's not that they're just trying to remove illegal content; they also want to remove so-called harmful content that's not necessarily illegal.
The UK is so bad that we had a criminal that we couldn't keep in prisons and stuff. So we sent them to an insane asylum, and then they led all the patients onto the roof. And now he's kept in, I think, Durham prison. I think his name's Charles Bronson. So I don't know, like even like we can't even keep a lot of our prisoners in check.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I was saying, I'm looking at this and going, this is gonna turn out like in my stories, right? Where your country's just gonna collapse into a warlord-ridden state, isn't it? It's
yeah.
I mean, it's getting to the point where it's like, is the stuff I wrote 2 years before Brexit coming true? Just the country's just gonna collapse into becoming a warlord-ridden state.
I can't wait.
It's getting to that point. It's like, oh shit. This is why I stopped writing stuff on Britain in my stories, like the overall. It's like, no, I'm gonna write stuff about South Africa now, because at the very least I know where that's going.
Actually, personally, I'm looking forward to when England, after promising Scotland that they would not leave the EU, goes to their doorstep and starts asking about northern gas and northern oil and northern wind farms, and like that's going to be an interesting conversation.
Anyway, we're stopping at midnight, and it's past midnight. So, if you wanted to know about Julian Assange and what's going on with there was a bit at the start, I believe. Thank you everybody who bothered to turn up. It's been lovely. Sorry about last week. I was feeling a little bit ill. I'm still not feeling particularly brilliant as it is, but I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you very much for not asking. Anyway, much love everybody, and see you all next week. Chitty bye.
Bye.
Wait for it. Wait for it. And it's finished. Bye.
Good show, you giant faggot.